gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, Chicago. I'm Rosalind Carney. Tonight we'll unpack the beach fight that led to 4 arrests, a tragic Inglewood shooting, and our sunny Saturday forecast with a chance of evening thunderstorms. Traffic's light despite Lollapalooza, and we'll spotlight the new Chicago Soul Cafe. Over to you, Miles.
This Saturday evening, the Chicago Riverwalk will host a free outdoor jazz concert at the Polk Street Pavilion, featuring local musicians beginning at 7 p.m., family-friendly atmosphere.
Attendees can enjoy complimentary lemonade from the Riverwalk concession stand, and the concert is adjacent to the new art installation unveiled last month, enhancing the evening experience.
The venue is easily reachable via the Green Line, with a stop at Ashland Station just a 2-minute walk, and bike racks are available nearby for cyclists.
With the jazz melodies set to fill the riverfront tonight, lots to get to, let's begin, and we'll dive into today's stories together. Here are our top stories. 4 people were arrested after a verbal clash at 31st Street Beach on Friday afternoon, involving 2 off-duty Chicago police officers and several beachgoers. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
At about 4:05 p.m. on Friday, a verbal clash erupted at 31st Street Beach. 2 off-duty officers, a 23-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman, were walking the shore when a group of 2 22-year-old men approached. The beach, a well-known summer spot for families and joggers, filled with a second group that included 2 additional men and 2 women. The encounter sparked a heated exchange that quickly grew louder, prompting police to step in. Officers separated the parties, took statements, and placed 4 individuals into custody for disorderly conduct. No injuries were reported, and the scene was cleared by early evening. City officials confirmed the arrests and said the investigation remains ongoing. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, 31st Street Beach.
Yesterday night, a shooting on the 700 block of West 73rd Street in Inglewood left 3 men wounded and 1 dead. Police responded to reports of gunfire at around 9:40 p.m., finding a 34-year-old man with fatal injuries and 2 others suffering non-life-threatening wounds. Both surviving victims were transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center for treatment. Detectives say the incident began as a verbal dispute that quickly escalated into gunfire. Officers are canvassing the area for witnesses and have not yet released a suspect description. The investigation remains ongoing as Chicago police work to determine motive and any possible connections to prior incidents in the neighborhood. Community leaders urged calm while authorities continue their search for those responsible. The incident adds to a recent string of South Side shootings that have strained local resources. Investigators are reviewing nearby surveillance video for leads.
Sunny skies dominate the city this Saturday, with temperatures climbing from the upper 60s this morning to the 80s by late afternoon. The forecast shows a steady rise, hitting around 69 degrees at midday and reaching the 70s as the sun moves west. By early evening, a brief chance of thunderstorms emerges, bringing a short-lived risk of severe weather as the weekend draws to a close. Chicagoans can expect clear conditions through most of the day, with the lake breeze keeping humidity moderate. Temperatures will hover near 67 degrees early in the afternoon before climbing again, and the thunderstorm window peaks after 8 p.m., when the lakefront may see brief showers. The National Weather Service notes the thunderstorm probability remains low, but pockets of heavy rain and gusty winds could develop after sundown. Residents are advised to stay aware of changing conditions as the evening unfolds.
Insight Health Systems, after reporting a $30 million loss last year, is pursuing acquisition of 2 closed Chicago hospitals, adding to its purchase of Mercy Hospital for $1 in 21. Roman Zabel has the full story.
Insight Health Systems is circling 2 vacant Chicago hospitals as it seeks to expand its footprint after reporting a $30 million loss at its flagship Insight Hospital and Medical Center last year. The network bought the historic Mercy Hospital in 2021 for a symbolic $1, rebranding it under the Insight name. Despite the low purchase price, the facility has struggled financially, prompting the operator to look for additional properties to revive. Officials say the 2 target sites are currently shuttered and could be repurposed for acute care or specialty services, though details of the deals remain under negotiation. City health leaders are watching the talks closely, hoping the moves could bring back jobs and beds to the area. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Bronzeville.
Chicago families are gearing up for the new school year by budgeting more for supplies than the average American household. A recent poll of local parents shows they expect to outspend the national norm on everything from backpacks to notebooks. The survey, conducted in mid-August 2026, found Chicago households plan to allocate a higher share of their budget to back-to-school items, reflecting the city's strong emphasis on education and rising cost pressures. The poll sampled households from neighborhoods ranging from the near North Side to Inglewood, giving a broad view of spending plans. School supply retailers across the Loop, Lincoln Park, and the South Side are already seeing increased orders as families stock up ahead of the first day of classes. Experts say the trend may boost sales for local merchants, but also highlights the financial stretch many families face as tuition, technology, and extracurricular fees climb. Later, a massive Verizon outage leaves over 13,000 users frustrated across the city, and we'll break down the impact. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Verizon wireless service has been faltering across Chicago since early afternoon. With the disruption intensifying around 3:30 p.m., the carrier's network is experiencing widespread outages that are preventing phone calls, affecting thousands of residents and commuters. Down Detector, a real-time outage tracker, aggregates user reports from social media and direct submissions, giving a real-time snapshot of the outage's scope. It shows more than 13,300 complaints logged for the city, while Verizon reports that over 10,000 of its customers have reported problems. The outage is not limited to the Windy City. Similar issues have surfaced in several other U.S. markets, though Chicago appears to be the hardest hit. Verizon's technical teams are actively working to restore service, but officials say the situation remains ongoing. As the problem persists, callers are advised to seek alternative communication methods until the network stabilizes.
On Illinois Route 9 near Gibson City, a car entered a school bus's path around 8:38 a.m., resulting in one fatality. Illinois State Police are investigating. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
At about 8:38 a.m., a car entered Illinois Route 9 without yielding and slammed into a school bus traveling north on the highway near the intersection with Ford County Road 1000 East, just outside Gibson City. The impact killed one person, authorities said. Illinois State Police are on scene, conducting a full investigation into why the driver failed to yield. The crash unfolded on a rural stretch roughly 30 miles north of Champaign, a region known for quiet country roads. Emergency crews arrived quickly, securing the scene and tending to the injured. No other vehicles were involved, and traffic was temporarily rerouted while investigators gathered evidence. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, Gibson City.
ABC 7 Chicago received multiple calls Thursday night after residents in Montgomery, Kane County, reported a bright object streaking across the sky. Witnesses described a sudden flash followed by a swift, glowing trail that lingered for several seconds before disappearing. The phenomenon appeared to originate from the west, moving northeast over the town's residential neighborhoods. Local authorities have not confirmed any aerial activity, and the Illinois State Police are reviewing the reports. Astronomers from the University of Chicago's Adler Planetarium noted that the timing coincides with a known meteor shower, though they cautioned that without radar data the sighting cannot be definitively classified. Social media platforms lit up with videos and photos as users tagged the event Montgomery meteor, prompting broader curiosity across the region. ABC 7 will continue to monitor official statements and any further eyewitness accounts as the investigation proceeds.
Illinois homeowners are now shouldering an average annual home insurance premium that tops $2,700, a figure roughly 14% above the national average, according to a new study released this evening. The analysis, which surveyed rates across the state, found the increase reflects a widening gap between local carriers and the broader market, leaving many families facing higher out-of-pocket costs each year. Experts point to a combination of rising construction costs, more frequent severe weather events, and tighter underwriting standards as drivers of the surge. Consumer groups warn that the added expense could strain budgets already tight from mortgage payments and property taxes. The study recommends that shoppers compare quotes regularly and consider bundling policies to mitigate the impact, though the overall upward trend appears set to continue.
Chicago's Secret Service field office reports investigating 10,000 threats against political protectees this year, prompting agents to conduct in-person interviews with suspects. The investigation remains ongoing. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
Secret Service agents here in Chicago say they've opened investigations into 10,000 separate threats against political protectees this year. The Chicago field office confirmed the tally covers reports filed throughout 2026, a level officials say is unprecedented. Teams are now deploying officers to interview suspects face-to-face, moving beyond phone or electronic contacts. ABC 7 Chicago obtained a statement noting that each case triggers a multi-step review, from initial threat assessment to potential protective action. The agency stressed that its mission remains to safeguard elected officials and other designated individuals, and that the surge in reports has prompted additional resources on the ground. Coordinating with Chicago police, agents will travel to neighborhoods where suspects reside to conduct the interviews. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Chicago.
Let's get a look at tonight's forecast with our meteorologist as we prepare for the weekend.
A steady mid-level jet from the northwest locks in warm air, keeping tonight's sky clear and calm. On this date, Chicago's all-time high hit 87 degrees in 2025, a burst from an early August heat wave that pushed temperatures well above the seasonal norm. The record low of 55 degrees fell in 2015 during an unexpected June cold snap that sent Arctic air deep into the Midwest. Today's climatological average high sits around 76 degrees with a low near 62. So even the current 79-degree reading feels modest against those extremes. The radar screen is completely blank across the lake and inland. No echoes are tracking eastward or southward, confirming the dry air mass that the steady high pressure has trapped over the region. With the jet stream cruising at about 40 miles per hour from the northwest, any lingering moisture is being sheared away. Expect the clear pattern to persist through the evening, and we now turn to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m., the city sits at 77 degrees with clear skies, humidity 72%, and a gentle east breeze of 7 miles per hour. The near-average pressure is holding steady, and the mid-level jet overhead from the northwest is maintaining a dry, subsiding air column that suppresses cloud development. As night falls, radiational cooling will push temperatures down toward 66 degrees by sunrise, while the light wind will keep the air well mixed. The UV index reads 8, though sunshine has already faded. No wind gusts exceed 16 miles per hour, and there are no active alerts. With the atmosphere remaining quiet, we now glance at the 5-day outlook. Tomorrow, Sunday, the high reaches 88 degrees with a low of 64. A broad upper-level trough brings overcast skies and a 60% rain chance, the weekend's first measurable moisture. Monday's high eases to 82 degrees, low near 70, and rain odds fall to 30% as the trough lifts. Tuesday sees a high of 79, low of 70, with light rain and a 35% chance. Wednesday rebounds to 84 degrees high, low around 70, and another 35% rain risk from a weak disturbance. Thursday caps the period with a milder high of 77, low 73, mostly overcast and no measurable rain. The slow-moving, moisture-laden system keeps the city on a wet, temperature-fluctuating stretch through midweek before easing at week's end. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic snarls from Lollapalooza and construction keep drivers waiting, Aussie Day fuels baseball buzz, and Chicago Soul Cafe opens doors. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
State Street and Lake Street see temporary weekend reroutes around the State Lake Loop station as crews finish the elevated line project. Drivers should follow posted signs and expect a few extra minutes on the downtown stretch, especially near the Merchandise Mart and the Riverwalk. Elsewhere, the city's main arteries remain clear. The Dan Ryan, the Kennedy, and the Edens all flow at normal speed. Minor slowdowns linger near Grant Park, where Lollapalooza crowds add a handful of vehicles to the mix, but no major incidents are reported. On the transit side, CTA has added extra red and blue trains to accommodate festival goers, so riders can expect shorter wait times on those lines. The yellow line will run later than usual, with service extended until 1 a.m. to serve late-night concert attendees. Overall, today's commute stays smooth, with only localized delays around the loop and the festival zone.
First, the Chicago Air and Water Show lifts off this week along the lakefront, a free high-octane display that turns the shoreline into a sky-watching festival. It's the perfect chance to feel the city's pulse from the water's edge. Ariana Grande adds an extra night to her Eternal Sunshine tour, now playing 3 shows in Chicago. Fans get another chance to hear the pop powerhouse live, and the added date shows just how hungry the city is for her sound. The Notebook returns to the Nederlander Theater, running through mid-August, a solid touring production that brings the beloved romance to the stage for Chicago audiences. It's a chance to relive a favorite story without leaving the city. Finally, Tate McRae headlines the final day of Lollapalooza in Grant Park, delivering a high-energy set that caps the festival's summer run. If you've been following the lineup, her performance promises a memorable close to the music marathon. And now here's Theo with sports.
Chicago sports heat up as legends retire, prospects rise, and the Cubs surge. Ozzie Guillone's number 13 jersey joins Luis Aparicio's number 11 in White Sox history, as both numbers are retired today. The ceremony arrives amid the club's first 4-game losing streak, reminding fans that the fiery former manager's legacy still looms large over the South Side. The White Sox promote number 2 prospect Hagen Smith and 4th overall talent Tanner McDougal to the big league roster Saturday morning. Meanwhile, fellow rookies Noah Schultz and David Sandlin are dispatched to Charlotte, reshuffling Chicago's young pitching depth and signaling a fresh push for the playoff stretch. Pete Crow Armstrong earns the superhero label with a .215 WPA, posting 1 hit, 3 at-bats, 2 walks, a stolen base and 2 runs in the Cubs' 6-4 victory over Kansas City. Kevin Gausman follows as a hero with a .174 WPA, reinforcing Chicago's offensive surge. Kevin Gausman lives up to the trade deadline hype, delivering 7 solid innings and surrendering just 2 runs in Chicago's 6-4 win over the Royals, extending the Cubs' streak to 5. A shaky opening frame featured a walk and a single, but the veteran right-hander settled quickly. The Cubs closed a homestand with a dramatic 7-6 win, highlighted by a duel between Pete Crow Armstrong and Shohei Ohtani. Crow Armstrong edged Ohtani statistically with an extra base hit and RBI, yet Ohtani's 8th-inning homer proved the decisive moment. The Cubs sit at 68 wins, 49 losses, with a 35-24 home record and 33-25 on the road. Tonight 6:10. Central showdown against Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium continues the 5-game winning run. Catch it on Marquee Sports Network.
Chicago Soul Cafe, tucked into the heart of Woodlawn at 6248 South St. Lawrence Avenue, has just opened its doors. This neighborhood coffee shop doubles as a training hub, giving people returning from incarceration experience in barista work, kitchen prep, and customer service. By pairing fresh pastries with a workforce, the cafe creates a welcoming space where building meets community. The program not only reduces recidivism but also supplies Woodlawn businesses with reliable staff, strengthening the local economy. For a city that thrives on resilience, Chicago Soul Cafe reminds us that every cup can brew a new beginning. Residents say the aroma of roasted beans now signals hope on their morning walk, and the cafe plans to host workshops on financial literacy. Coming up, we'll explore the CTA's $25 million accessibility upgrade at Austin Station and how it transforms commuter experiences. Stay tuned. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. State lawmakers clash over budget provisions, while Chicago public schools receive an additional funding boost, and mayoral candidates sharpen their strategies ahead of the upcoming primary. Roman Zabel has the full story.
Lawmakers on the floor of the state capitol sparred over a procedural dispute that stalled several pending bills, leaving advocates waiting for clarity on key policy measures. Meanwhile, the Chicago Board of Education confirmed a new round of financial support for the district, earmarking additional resources to address classroom shortages and upgrade facilities across the system. Officials said the money will first flow to schools in underserved neighborhoods, aiming to narrow achievement gaps. In the mayoral contest, candidates hit the streets this week, outlining fresh proposals on public safety and housing as they vie for early endorsements ahead of the June primary. The race remains tight, with each campaign intensifying outreach in neighborhoods that could tip the balance. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Chicago.
CTA has finished a $25 million accessibility overhaul at the Austin Green Line station, adding elevators, ramps, and other features to serve riders with disabilities. Roman Zabel has the full story.
Construction crews finished the $25 million accessibility overhaul at the Austin Green Line stop on August 7, 2026. The project installed 2 new elevators, new wheelchair-friendly ramps, tactile warning strips, and upgraded signage throughout the platform and mezzanine. Officials say the upgrades bring the station into compliance with federal accessibility standards and eliminate the barriers that have long hindered riders with disabilities. The Chicago Transit Authority coordinated the work with city engineers to keep the line running while the improvements were installed, and the station reopened to the public early Wednesday with the new features fully operational. Commuters can now board and alight without assistance, a change that improves access for those who rely on accessible transit. Roman Zabel, GMNA News, Austin.
Thank you, Chicago, for joining us on the local sunset. Tonight we caught a glimpse of a possible meteor streaking over Montgomery, a reminder of the wonders above our city. Stay safe, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Good night.